There comes a moment in every awakened life when you realize that some doors must be closed without ceremony. No grand farewell, no lengthy explanation, no final words to ease the conscience of those who never truly saw you. You simply walk away, and in that quiet departure you reclaim something far more precious than their understanding. You reclaim yourself. Most people will never comprehend this. They will demand reasons, justifications, proof of your departure. They will call you cold, ungrateful, mysterious. They will spin stories to fill the void your absence creates because the human mind cannot tolerate unexplained space. But here is what I have learned across lifetimes of observation. The one who owes you nothing owes no explanation, and those who truly deserve understanding, would never demand it in the first place. Listen closely. When I speak of walking away without explanation, I am not advocating cruelty. I am not suggesting you abandon your responsibilities or inflict pain for sport. No. What I speak of is something far more profound, far more necessary for your soul's survival. I speak of the sacred act of withdrawing your energy from spaces, people, and situations that have become tombs for your spirit. Places where your words fall on deaf ears. Relationships where your presence is expected and but never appreciated. Conversations that drain rather than nourish. You have been taught since childhood that departure requires justification, that every exit must be explained, defended, rationalized until all parties are satisfied. You have been conditioned to believe that leaving without a detailed account is somehow morally deficient, that you owe the world a comprehensive report on why you no longer wish to participate in its games. But consider this. When a tree's leaf falls in autumn, does it write a letter to the branch explaining its reasons? When the tide recedes from the shore, does it schedule meetings with the sand to discuss its departure? When night transitions to dawn, does darkness provide a detailed explanation to the stars about why it must leave? Nature understands what we have forgotten, that some endings require no words, that there is profound wisdom in the quiet exit, that the most powerful departures are those that need no defense. I have watched countless souls torture themselves trying to make the blind see, spending hours, days, months attempting to explain their truth to minds that were never meant to understand it. They craft careful speeches, prepare gentle explanations, rehearse kind but firm boundaries, all in the hope that finally this time they will be heard. They will be understood. They will receive permission to go. But here is the illusion you must shatter. You are not waiting for their understanding. You are waiting for your own courage. The need to explain is not about them. It is about you. It is the last thread of your ego clinging to the idea that you can control how others perceive you. That if you just find the right words, the perfect explanation, they will finally see who you truly are and bless your departure with comprehension and grace. They will not. And this is where your freedom begins, in the acceptance that you do not need them to understand in order to be free. Your liberation is not contingent upon their approval. Your truth does not require their validation. Your departure does not need their signature. When you truly grasp this, something extraordinary happens. The weight you have been carrying, the burden of needing to be understood, the exhaustion of constant justification, the prison of perpetual explanation, it simply dissolves. You realize that silence is not cold. It is merciful. That walking away without explanation is not abandonment, it is self-preservation, that some people are not meant to follow you into your next chapter, and that is neither tragedy nor failure. It is simply the way. Think of it this way. Imagine you are standing in a room filled with people speaking a language you no longer speak. They are having conversations that once mattered to you, discussing problems that once consumed you, operating at a frequency that once felt like home. But something has shifted within you. You have evolved, transformed, awakened to a different reality. And now, when you open your mouth to share what you have discovered, they look at you with confusion, suspicion, sometimes hostility. You can feel the distance growing, not physical distance, something far more profound, a distance of consciousness, of awareness, of understanding. And in that moment, you face a choice. Do you spend your precious energy trying to translate your new language back into their old vocabulary? Do you contort yourself, dilute your truth, shrink your expansion just to fit back into a space you have outgrown? Or do you simply leave? This is where most people falter. They believe that leaving without explanation is somehow a betrayal, that they owe these people, their family, their old friends, their former versions of themselves, a comprehensive account of their transformation. They sit down to write the letter, to have the conversation, to make them understand. And this is where the torture begins, because you cannot explain light to those who have chosen to live in darkness. You cannot describe the ocean to those who have never left the desert. You cannot convey the experience of flight to those whose feet have never left the ground. Some experiences transcend language. Some transformations defy explanation. Some truths can only be lived, never articulated. When you attempt to explain your awakening to those still sleeping, you do not enlighten them. You exhaust yourself. You pour your vital energy into a vessel with no bottom. You speak your truth into a void that echoes back only misunderstanding, judgment, and demands for you to return to who you were. And here is the tragedy. The more you explain, the less they understand. Because explanation requires a shared foundation of experience. It requires both parties to be standing on common ground. But you are no longer on their ground. You have ascended to a different altitude, and from where you stand now, the landscape looks entirely different. This is not arrogance. This is not superiority. This is simply evolution. And evolution, by its very nature, creates distance from what came before. I have seen the wisest souls waste years trying to bring others along on a journey those others never asked to take. They exhaust themselves playing translator between two worlds, the world of sleep and the world of awakening. They sacrifice their own growth, their own peace, their own forward momentum, all in the name of not leaving anyone behind. But let me tell you something that will liberate you. You are not responsible for other people's understanding. You are not obligated to make sense to those who have not done the inner work to comprehend your transformation. You do not owe anyone access to your evolution. Your only responsibility is to your own soul's integrity, to honor the truth that lives within you, to follow the path that calls you, even when, especially when, that path leads away from everything and everyone you once knew. Walking away without explanation is not cruelty. It is clarity. It is the ultimate act of respecting both yourself and them. Because when you leave without explanation, you are saying, I trust you to create whatever story you need about my departure. I release you from the burden of understanding me. I free both of us from the exhausting dance of justification and defense. Consider the butterfly. When it emerges from the cocoon, does it return to explain its transformation to the caterpillar? Does it apologize for having wings? Does it justify its new ability to fly? It simply spreads its wing and takes flight. The caterpillar, still bound to the leaf, cannot comprehend this transformation, and the butterfly does not pause its flight to make it understandable. This is the power I speak of, the power to honor your own metamorphosis without seeking permission or understanding from those who have not undergone the same transformation. But understand this. Walking away without explanation is not the same as walking away without awareness. It is not careless, it is not thoughtless. It requires tremendous wisdom to know when silence serves better than speech. It demands deep self-knowledge to distinguish between avoiding difficult conversations and recognizing truly futile ones. There are times when explanation is necessary, when you have made commitments, when others depend on you, when your departure directly impacts innocent parties. In these cases, you fulfill your responsibilities, but you do not justify your soul's evolution. There is a profound difference between explaining logistics and defending your existence, between communicating necessary information and seeking approval for your growth, between honoring genuine obligations and enslaving yourself to others' expectations. The power I speak of is the discernment to know the difference. You see, most of the explanations you feel compelled to give are not for the other person's benefit. They are for your own comfort. You want to explain because you want to be seen as good, reasonable, justified. You want them to nod and say, "Yes, I understand why you must go." You want to leave with their blessing, their approval, their validation that you are making the right choice. But seeking validation for your departure is just another way of giving them power over you. It is saying, "I will only be free if you permit it." And that, my friend, is not freedom at all. True freedom is walking away when your soul demands it, regardless of whether anyone understands. True power is releasing the need to be understood, approved of, or validated by those whose consciousness operates at a different frequency than yours.